You walked away from the conversation, and somehow, you were the one who apologized. Not angry, not sad, just confused. You were sure about what happened only minutes ago. Now, suddenly, you're not. You remember what they said, but now you're questioning whether they ever said it at all. You felt hurt, but somehow, now you feel guilty. Most people think manipulation looks obvious. Control, rage, threats, cruel words. But some of the most dangerous manipulation feels quiet, invisible, psychological. Because it doesn't attack your body, it attacks your trust in your own mind. And many people don't realize it's happening until years have passed. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the 7 signs of gaslighting and why recognizing it changes everything. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where someone causes you to doubt your memory, your emotions, and your sense of reality. They do not gain power through force. They gain power through confusion. Over time, something subtle begins to happen. You stop trusting what you saw. You stop trusting what you felt. And slowly, you begin trusting their version of events more than your own. That is why gaslighting can be so damaging, because by the time many people recognize it, their confidence is already weakened. Here are 7 signs to watch for. They deny things that clearly happened. You bring up something specific, a sentence they said, a promise they made, an action they took. And instead of accountability, they deny it entirely. That never happened. I never said that. You're imagining things. This is more than dishonesty. It is an attempt to destabilize reality itself. Because if you begin doubting clear facts, you become easier to control. And the longer this pattern continues, the less certain you become of your own memory. They twist your words until you defend yourself. You try to explain a concern calmly, but somehow the conversation changes direction. Now you're defending your tone, your wording, your intentions. The original issue disappears, and you leave the conversation emotionally exhausted. This is not random, it is a tactic. Because if every concern becomes your fault, nothing ever has to change. They make your feelings seem invalid. You say something hurt you. They say you're too sensitive. You express discomfort. They say you're dramatic. You react normally to disrespect. They call you unstable. Healthy people may misunderstand your feelings. Manipulative people train you to distrust them. And once you stop trusting your emotional signals, you lose one of your strongest forms of inner guidance. Which of these first 3 signs have you experienced most? 1, 2, or 3? Comment below. I read them all. But the next 4 signs are often harder to notice, because by this stage, manipulation no longer feels dramatic. It feels normal. You constantly feel confused after talking to them. Here is a test. Do you usually feel clear with most people, but confused after conversations with one specific person? That matters. Healthy communication creates clarity. Manipulation creates fog. If you repeatedly leave serious conversations doubting yourself, apologizing, or mentally drained, pay attention. Confusion can be information. They use your vulnerabilities against you. At some point, you trusted them. You shared insecurities, past wounds, sensitive memories, things that mattered. Then later, during conflict, those same vulnerabilities are used against you. This is why nobody likes you. No wonder people leave. That's your real problem. Safe people protect what you share. Manipulative people store it for later use. That distinction changes everything. They slowly distance you from support. Manipulation becomes weaker when outside perspectives enter the room. So many gaslighters isolate quietly. They criticize your friends. They question your family. They imply nobody understands you like they do. At first, it sounds like closeness, but over time, it creates dependence. And dependence makes control easier. Is there someone who always has a reason why the people who love you most are somehow bad for you? Think carefully. And sign 7 may be the hardest one to hear, because by the time it happens, you may not even realize it has. You no longer trust yourself. This is the final stage. You begin doubting your own memory automatically. You apologize before thinking. You ask permission to feel hurt. You assume you're wrong, even when evidence says otherwise. At that point, manipulation has become internal. Their voice now speaks inside your mind. And that is why gaslighting can become almost invisible, because the victim begins doing the work for them. If this video is helping you name something you've felt for a long time, save it. You may need to come back to it. Now, here is the good news. Gaslighting depends on confusion, and confusion loses power the moment it is named. First, write things down. Facts become powerful when memory is being challenged. Second, speak to someone outside the situation, a trusted friend, family member, therapist. Manipulation thrives in isolation. Third, start trusting your internal signals again. If something repeatedly feels wrong, do not dismiss that feeling simply because someone mocked it. If any part of this described your life, hear this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. You may have simply been listening to the wrong voice for too long. And the moment you trust your own voice again, the spell begins to break. If this video helped you understand something you couldn't explain before, share it with one person who may need it. And watch this next, because once you understand why complete silence weakens a manipulator's control, you'll never react the same way again. Why no reaction makes manipulators lose power. This video, right here. I'll see you there.